Okay. So, yeah, this meeting is being recorded as a new start to Gauntlet roleplaying. Welcome to the Gauntlet. Today we are playing The Great American Witch, as you can see here, which is a book that came out recently by Christopher Gray, based on the previous Great American novel. I guess a real world with liberal doses of the supernatural in it, in which all of our main characters are witches in a coven. My name is Donna. I'll be running the game. My pronouns are he, him. Other things we should kind of know about the world is the coven is set up in a teaching hospital or a teaching hospital / veterinary hospital. And there the coven help to train witches, help witches, young witches, to kind of come into their own. And I think in this world we kind of see the place of the coven amongst the greater community of witches, and also some supernatural beings we may see more of later. So expect, I don't know, angels, demons, maybe ghosts, maybe shapeshifters of a curious kind. Okay, so let's, I guess, get intros from our players and their characters. Let's, as is traditional, go in character keeper order, left to right.
Yeah. Hi, my name's David, use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Dr. Roxanne Ferreira. She is a lady in her 40s. She was inducted into the craft of Isis, one of the old magical traditions, particularly focusing on healing. By her family, there's a kind of a long tradition of members of her family practicing the arts, as it were, as well as being a witch. Roxanne is a doctor, a medical doctor, and she has relatively recently moved to our school here, where she has taken on responsibilities both for training mundane and magical students in the various different aspects of her skill set. Yeah, and I think that is Roxanne.
Okay, great. Thanks, David. Sabine, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Sabine. I use any pronouns. I am playing Mara Pete, she, her pronouns. Mara is a pretty young, mid-20s, I think. She's also teaching. She's a veterinary. She's a vet. I'm struggling with that word. That I did that last week. She's an animal doctor. So yeah, and she follows the craft of the spider grandmother, which is about connecting the wisdom of creation and communing with natural spirits that make up creation. Her family, though, they are not a very peaceful bunch. They are mostly kind of hunting rogue beasties. Yeah, but she didn't like that. She didn't want to be a storm witch. She wanted to be a kind of a peaceful witch. So she went out to teach at this school now, which is fine, which will go well for everyone, even though her father is occasionally hanging around, and that might cause some trouble. Probably not. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing will happen along those lines. Thanks, Sabine. And Mark.
Yep, it's all going to be fine. I am Mark. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Dr. Miranda Castillo, who uses she, her pronouns. Miranda practices the craft of Tara. And Tara witches are ultimately about balance. They're the ethical and moral spine of a coven, in theory. and she is a neurologist and also teaches at this institute. And her grandfather, Dr. Luis Castillo, was one of the founders of the institute. And that's all I'm going to say for now. We'll see what happens while we play.
Sorry, I remuted myself by accident. What we probably want to do at the very start is to start off with a montage chapter. So the game is divided into chapters, which have very specific roles in the story. So the purpose of the montage chapter is to allow the players and the characters narrative control over their character and present their individual story without having to confront conflicts or worry about the plot. As long as you're not controlling another witch or an existing or subdued conflict, you can completely control the scene and introduce truths in your turn. So this is, I think, a very straightforward montage chapter because we're really just starting. You can introduce any fictional aspects to the world that you want. We don't have any conflicts really already, so we're not going to be taking any of those. But feel free to create some of your own. So yeah, we can bring in NPCs or create NPCs as well. And I guess in those situations, I'll play them just as we would normally. And I guess we're setting up a narrative. Maybe it's a day in the life, or maybe there's a project or something that your character is working on. So does anyone have any strong ideas, or will we just go in turn? I guess we have like a mini scene, and we can take turns to flesh them out until we are kind of happy with either a resolution or that we're approaching a conflict. Okay, so if no one has got something jumping out at them, we'll go around as before. So David, is there anything in mind for Roxanne?
Yeah, I think kind of the first little just moments we see of Roxanne are she's in a sort of fairly classical looking lecture theatre, delivering kind of delivering a talk on a particular aspect of medicine. We'll say it's some sort of anatomy in general, just sort of going through various stuff on the thing, and kind of she's clearly got that like passion when she's speaking. This is clearly something she enjoys doing, and I think we kind of see sort of the students sort of taking notes as she's sort of leading them through the subject matter.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's move the spotlight pretty quickly, unless we want to play something out. So how do we get it introduced to Mara in this case, Sabine?
I think we see Mara. She comes out of a classroom. She has some books, carries them around like you do. And she meets up with her girlfriend, Elsie. I think it was Elsie. And Dr. Elsie Kelly, who also teaches at the school. And as she leaves, she looks a little bit rattled, like a little, and Elsie looks over and says, "Oh, you've got the bros," and you see a couple of boys or young men leaving, like laughing, haha, we're so cool, we're the coolest guys ever. And Mara is like, yeah, they are quite a handful. I mean, I usually can get a grip on them, but sometimes this Leonard guy, I don't know, he just thinks everything is a joke. Elsie says, yeah, well, yeah, just remind him that maybe he's a joke. And Mara says, no, come on, he's just a kid, basically. He just needs to find a way to stand out. And Elsie rolls her eyes like, oh my God, you're too nice for this world. And then then she says, let's go and have coffee and talk about strategies for dealing with the bros. And Mara says, yeah, I like that. I just blow off a bit of steam. That is, I don't like being in the classroom fighting for control. I wish they were more. I mean, sometimes they are interested, but then they get into their bro spirit, and I don't know. I wish we could exercise that. And Elsie looks like, what? Yeah, she says, yeah, if we could exercise patriarchy, that would be a thing, right? And Mara looks like, maybe there's something there, but she doesn't say anything.
I mean, using the word exercise might be might bring certain things to life that Mara isn't quite ready to talk about yet, right? But who knows? Great. How about Miranda then?
So Miranda is in a lab with a lot of computer screens, and she is with her mentor, Dr. Catherine Whistler. Miranda is in her 30s. She has a lot of very dark hair, dark brown hair, and and is obviously a Latina. Dr. Whistler is a very old white woman with gray hair. She's probably in her 70s. And they are examining some examining some graphics of brains, some MRIs or CAT scans or some other imaging method that they've used. And they're looking at the brains and or at the images and talking about different activity areas where they see different activity. And I think that Miranda is talking about, well, in this one, you can see that the witch is starting to enter the meditative state, and you can see how it is affecting this particular lobe. And there's a lot of activity in the kind of the lower brain as well. And it's very different from the meditative state that we're seeing in a normal human. And then she's comparing the two different images together side by side. And they continue to talk medical babble for the next several minutes of the scene. And then Dr. Miranda rather gets a phone call on her cell phone, and she picks it up, and it is her grandfather, Dr. Castillo, who is also on the campus. And Dr. Castillo says that he wants her to come by his office because he needs to talk to her about some fundraising opportunities. And then we see Miranda pack up her stuff. And what month do we think it is, or what season? Does it matter to us? Let's make it winter.
Do we think there are kind of new students on campus, or are we approaching exams, or kind of in between those two kind of states?
I think with Mara has the two the bros, and her and Dr. Kelly was kind of surprised that she has the two bros in her class. So I think maybe it's still kind of early in the semester. So maybe it's autumn.
Yeah,
It's October.
yeah, yeah. So people have had a little bit of time to bed down, but are maybe finding their equilibrium, right?
Right.
Wherever that leads them.
So Miranda says, "Oh, I've got to go." She slips on her jacket and heads out to Dr. Castillo's office.
Okay, great.
Have a cut.
Yeah. Let's go back around to Roxanne. Do we think this is like an easy class for her to give, or are there some students who are kind of grappling with some of the difficulty, or what are her thoughts about how this is going?
Yeah, I think this is probably, you know, essentially like one of the like 101 type classes. So yeah, I think you know that it's that there's a fair amount of like answering questions and you know just you know taking the time to make sure that everyone's kind of on board with what's going on. And yeah, I think there's quite a bit of like you know, sort of back and forth on that throughout the class.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what the real curriculum is going to be like, right? But I imagine that that these students, if they're grappling with anatomy 101, have not kind of looked at a cadaver or any kind of real physical specimens yet. It's all kind of book learning right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think so.
So maybe there's a little bit of, you know, nervous tension around that, the prospect of doing this for real. You know.
Yeah.
How do you think your kind of young student witch, Sam, is he like a in this one-on-one class, or is he kind of a more advanced student, do you think?
I think we'll say that, yeah, he's in this class as well. Yeah, and I think, yeah, like I think he's definitely you know, is a good student, but is definitely in the cohort that's kind of nervous about sort of next steps, as it were.
So yeah, I think maybe it would make sense to kind of push that kind of plot line, or push that fiction in some way if you want.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, I wonder if maybe kind of at the end of the class, I think I think it's one of those things where, you know, Sam's kind of dawdling over like putting his books and stuff away at the end of the class, and I think, you know, it's obviously, it's like, yeah, sort of hanging around a little bit, and yeah, Roxanne is going to kind of go up to him and say, would you like to have a chat, Sam? How's everything going on?
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit nervous because, you know, I don't know what to expect, right? I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm noticing because of, and you know, he looks around him nervously because of the witchcraft, and what I'm noticing because, you know, I'm doing this stuff for the first time.
And it's right that you should be nervous, or it's right to have some apprehensions. This is this can be difficult for people, and especially given your sensitivities, it may be difficult for you, but I'll be there to help you through it.
Thanks, Dr. Ferreira. I mean, I just hope I'm not too squeamish when it happens. I don't like when I've tried magic before. It's always seemed a little bit, I don't know, icky is the wrong word, but you know, kind of primal and not entirely natural. I don't know.
We live lives these days that are so insulated from nature, from world, from life and death in many ways. It's a difficult skill, a difficult mindset to adjust to, the proximity to life and death, but it's an important one, not just for if you do go on to complete your medical training, or whatever else you choose with that, but for the practice of the craft as well. The forces we deal with are fundamental to the world as much as human life and everything else is.
Okay, I mean, that sounds big, but I guess I knew that, right? Thanks. I'll see you at the practical later, right? Okay.
Of course.
And I think if I can add a detail, you know, maybe Sam has a couple of friends, mundane friends, who are kind of maybe standing at the top of the lecture theater wondering what he's talking to the professor about, right? There's obviously a little bit of a secret life going on in this regard, right?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Sabine, where did you want to go with this? This lead with Elsie? Are you kind of troubleshooting about students, or talking about, or trying to tease out some detail with her about you know, magic in the world, or where are you heading with this?
I just want to see the relationship, really.
Okay, yeah,
with,
cool.
With Mara and Elsie, because Elsie doesn't know that when Mara says something about exorcising, she means it quite literally. And well, yeah. So there's always there are always these little moments when Mara talks about something and loses Elsie. Yeah. And I mean, Elsie's kind of used to it, or maybe not, or maybe they haven't talked about that yet. So
in the college, where do you, I mean, is there like a cafe or something that you're hanging out in, or like a staff room, or are you just kind of outside?
I imagine there's a staff room maybe, or there's because the cafes, I imagine, are occupied mostly by students. So it would be weird to go there if you're a teacher, right? For some, maybe they go outside. Maybe there's a park near, so they take a thermos and of coffee and just go there. And yeah, and I think what happens is they drink their coffee and they eat some, I don't know, croissants or brioches, and that's when the birds start coming over, because the birds like Mara. And then Elsie is like, "Oh, you're a regular Disney princess."
I mean, you know, they also like the croissants, right, or the brioche, right? It's not completely
yeah. It's not. But,
unbelievable that they're.
yeah, it's not. It's not something I'm actually, or maybe it is something I'm doing, just not very consciously. I've been doing it since I've been a kid. That just call to if I see a bird and it's kind of one that I haven't seen before, not like the usual pigeons and sparrows that you get everywhere, but like a strange looking bird, and I might kind of nudge it to come over, just so I can look at it, what it is, what's doing here, and then I will tell Elsie that this is blah blah blah. I don't know any American. I know tanagers. That's an American bird, I believe. So it's one of these. And I explained to her that is a bit of yeah, this is a bit lost here. You don't belong here. And the bird looks like, I don't. I mean, it doesn't talk, but it's like it's it's like almost like it understands that Mara is talking to it.
Yeah. And I think you're doing your thing, and Elsie's kind of looking at you, and maybe she says, after a while, she says, when you said this is like a blue jay or whatever type of bird it is, I thought you were gonna like tell me this is Frank, and he's always here. I thought you knew the bird's name.
No,
but
no, it's a she, but and she's not really supposed to be here. This is not her habitat ordinarily. It's a bit lost, I think. I mean, I can talk. Obviously, I can't talk to birds.
Obviously not. But that's we're all kind of lost, right? I'm here because you're here, right? I would totally be reading my notes in the staff room if you didn't drag me outside.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drag you anywhere. Could have said that, but I thought you might like it.
I do. Yeah.
I mean, the sun's shining, birds are singing. I kind of like it outside. It's always feel kind of stuffed up inside. There's like there isn't. I don't know. I feel stifled.
It's okay. You're not gonna enjoy it. It's nice out here.
What's the matter?
There's nothing the matter. I said it's nice out here.
Okay. I knew we wanted to compare notes. I forgot. I'm sorry. I got distracted by the birds.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we control, like dissuade the bros of their whatever we call their nonsense.
Broiness,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've been teaching a bit longer than I have. Is there any way you can get through to somebody like that? I mean, they seem to be like enveloped in this almost a cocoon, like a shield against the world.
I mean, I would say for a lot of them, like, doesn't really change, but for some, something will grab their attention in class or on a project or something, and they'll change. But as a rule, I just can't predict what or who.
Okay, I think that's very helpful. Thank you.
I mean, I don't think that's very helpful at all, but
I believe in all kinds of things, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah, you've got any plans for later? I have this other class I have to teach, the special one, but I'm free after that.
Do we think it's like a what stage in the week? We know what time of year it is, but is it like a Friday or a Thursday, or is it like the business end of the week? Is there, or sorry, this is the montage sheet. Like, you should decide whether you want Elsie to be free or not.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right, sure. Yeah, I think I think I would like her to have a thing of her own.
Okay.
That she goes to.
So yeah, I think maybe she's working on a big project with some more people on staff, and they have kind of late research meeting, and then they're gonna kind of let off some steam afterwards or something.
Okay.
So it's like she's busy, but maybe you could come along. It's not a private thing, to the blowout session or something.
You know what? You gave me an idea, and I might work on that actually.
Okay. Well, let me know how that goes.
Yes, I will.
I mean, if only we had someone with the neuroscience magic to let's call it neuromancy to work out how bros work and how you can break them. I
don't want to break them. I just want to unbro them a little. Yeah. Detoxify.
Awesome. Okay, so Mark, do you want to do a quick intro for your grandfather, the kind of head founder of the school?
Yeah, so I think that we'll start with the camera on Dr. Castillo, portrayed by the venerated actor Edward James Olmos. And he is at his desk. Even though this is kind of a modern institute, his office and his desk has a very kind of old school feel to it. A lot of dark wood, a very large desk, books with, shelves with tons of books. And he has some French doors that open onto a courtyard outside his office. And he is bent over some paperwork. He doesn't seem to have a computer at his desk. And it seems to be signing some documents when Miranda enters and says, hey, Grandpapa, how are you doing?
So is this can you get away with calling him Grandpapa in private?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And how does that kind of warm relationship? Am I stretching for that, or?
I think that it is. Yeah, I think that generally they generally get along pretty well. They don't see eye to eye on everything, but well enough. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Miranda, and I think he looks up from his book, right? And then he recalls, or rather, I recall that he called you, right, for
yes,
for fundraising,
right.
But I think because I don't know what that fundraising idea is, I think he's going to step back from his desk and kind of show you what he has and ask you what you think of what you see.
So yeah, so I think that particularly he wants to let's say he wants to talk to her about a large corporation that's interested in funding, making a large donation to the school. But I think that, I think the Castillos have a feeling that this corporation knows that there's something going on behind the facade of the regular school, and that maybe they are trying to get a little bit of looking at maybe getting a piece of the action from them or something along those lines. I don't know if that fits into like really the realm of Great American Witch. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a little too out there.
Well, I mean,
Too
I
pulpy.
think I mean, it doesn't seem to directly hit any of our themes, right? But
Yeah, you're right. Let's go back to the
but
themes.
but it could be that, you know, this kind of interference or maybe discovery by a corporation kind of aims us back at one of those themes, you know. Certainly if there's something like angelic or demonic about this corporation, you know, we could work it in.
Yeah, so let's take that angle, if you're comfortable with that. So yeah, the company, maybe we need to find out more about the company, but they are interested in funding the Institute in return for, well, in theory, in return for getting some kind of useful information or knowledge or something from them.
Do we want to hang like hang a hook on that lampshade, you know, that the audience and maybe our characters suspect something, like is the name of the corporation like Morningstar Enterprises or something like this?
That's perfect right there. Yes, it's Morningstar Enterprises.
Okay.
Yeah, and that perfectly, I think, kind of like plays into it. So yeah, so the question is, do we want to do that so we can keep an eye on them at the same time and get some money out of it, or do we want to shut them down, which will maybe look suspicious in some way to someone? Feel like there's anything you can do with that there, Donna?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we're probably going outside the bounds of what we could really discover in a montage chapter, right?
Right.
I think
Right.
this is but maybe in terms of what we do get in this montage, you know, maybe maybe Louise wonders if you can maybe figure out a little bit more about them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe meet a representative, figure out whether they are usable or whether they're a danger to our mission here, right?
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, it seems like that's part of the conversation that we're having then, without having to really play it out beyond that, since we've stated it. Yeah. And so I think that Miranda says, yeah, I can understand it's useful to have all that money. Obviously, the Institute could really use it. The question always is, what do we have to give up in return? But I will see what I can find out, and maybe we can work something out going forward.
Okay. Well, let me know when you want me to swoop in and be a good cop or a bad cop. You know,
I will.
Needed.
I've got your number. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I feel like we kind of have Miranda and Mara's kind of chapters kind of set up for kind of the next stage. I'm not sure about Roxanne's though. David, do you want to add something extra to that, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm okay with where I'm at, I think, to be honest. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, I guess we can see where we're at in the next chapter, and maybe kind of helping Sam to kind of explore his magic, or the kind of magic mundane kind of struggle is a good place to start digging into things there. Okay, so I think probably the type of chapter that's calling out for me now is a momentum chapter. Let me read out the description. Scenes in the momentum chapter focus on escalating story events driven by the guide to move the plot, but are not directly a menace or a mission. I guess a menace is something really dangerous is happening, and a mission is when you have a clear confrontation in mind, kind of at the witch's behest rather than at the menace's behest. They're used like menace, but without a major life-threatening conflict. Momentum chapters are great scenes to introduce new conflicts into play. So in this chapter, I set the scene and by default have narrative control. Conflicts are confronted as normal, but outcomes are always determined by the guide. And the momentum chapter ends at the guide's discretion when the narrative drives towards a menace, meeting, or milestone. So a meeting is when the three of you get together to kind of discuss what's next. And a milestone is kind of a climax to a story or an arc, depending on how that goes. Okay. So I don't know whether we can switch to that new chapter, or I'm looking at the time. It might be a good opportunity for us to take a short break. I don't know how people feel. Yeah. So I got 53. So we get back on the hour and then we start then. Okay. Cool. Okay. I will pause it. Okay, we're back. So we're about to start this momentum chapter where I guess things start to pick up, where we get a chance to see our witches confront some conflicts. And so, like, a conflict obviously is an obstacle to be overcome. It's not necessarily like a violent conflict or anything like that. So so it can be as straightforward as we want it to be. So what do you think? Maybe we start with Roxanne in our usual order, unless anyone really wants to jump the key. So do you think we want to have a scene where we see Roxanne kind of coaching her young student Sam into some kind of magical or anatomical shape? That's the best choice of words.
Yeah, I think maybe doing some sort of magical, practice might be interesting, just because we've not seen much of that yet.
So in physical play, right? We have like cards for individual conflicts, index cards, I guess. In online, it's a little bit less immediate or intuitive. So there's a conflicts tab. So I'm going to be typing into that tab for conflicts as we kind of uncover them. So I'm going to call this, but let me know what you think, David. Is this like Sam's unwillingness to commit to magic or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah, I think they've maybe got some like that's what I'm looking for. yeah, some like reservations still.
Reticence or something.
Yeah, reticence. That's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, when you set a scene, because this will probably be the first time we see magic in operation, and I want to give you a little bit of control over how Roxanne approaches magic. So the rules tell me I should set the scene, but I'm going to break the rule and
Sure
let,
thing.
let you kind of set the scene for this.
So yeah, I think that this this is in like a small chamber, small room that is you know, probably from the outside just appears to be like a regular seminar room or whatever, but you know, it's the one of the ones where regular classes are never scheduled in here. No one ever seems to have the key for it, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think inside it's the it's actually like a stone room that's obviously out of keeping with the rest of the or most of the rest of the architecture of this place, but like it's got various mystical sigils and stuff engraved in the walls and on the floor, and I think that when we kind of come into the scene, Roxanne is leading Sam through some like kind of you know, a sort of like ritualistic cleansing ceremony, and then kind of you know, meditating, concentrating on the workings, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think you know, it's not that Sam is unfamiliar with this. He, you know, I think he is kind of aware enough about the forms and the way to kind of hold himself. And so I think in the initial stages of this ritual, he seems really open, right, and kind of knows and comfortable with what's going on. But I think, you know, when we kind of see things get a little bit more visceral or a little bit less, that he can't just pretend that it's not real magic. I think you kind of see him mentally put the brakes on, right? Yeah. So what do you do to kind of get him through that?
Yeah. So I think Roxanne kind of you know, when she can see his kind of concentration falter, and can see that the magic is getting away from him, she just puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Come back, Sam. You're able to feel the magic, bring it forth. That much I can see. But I can feel the hesitation in you. What do you feel is holding you back?"
So I wonder, in terms of, I mean, we can play through that, but I'm trying trying to understand what Roxanne is really trying to achieve? Is she trying to kind of understand what the problem is, or does she kind of know what the answer is already? Is she trying to navigate him to finding the best way through?
A bit of both, I think. I think you know, she doesn't necessarily understand, or rather, her belief is that that there is obviously some like inner conflict with Sam that is what's holding him back, though she's not sure of the exact source of that inner conflict. So she is kind of interested to find out. But yeah, I think her focus is on trying to help Sam work his way through this.
Okay. So I think that is kind of a navigate others move. So when you want to guide, which is plus
Cool.
wisdom.
Nice.
So
pardon.
So people link to the die roller.
Oops, that's
So it's it should be in the safety tab.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. I was just it's been a little while since I've used this version of the.
Yeah, so you're not at wheel or woe, so you're just or disadvantage or advantage as the game calls them. So you're just rolling 2d6 and then plus wisdom.
Yeah, cool. Right, I think that should. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so that looks like a 5 to me.
Yeah.
So,
did it add the?
Yeah, it adds the. So.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's a 1 and a 2. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, yeah, I see. Yeah, it's the way it's laid out was just confusing me. It's yeah, cool.
Okay, so on a result of 6 minus 3, the conflict is not resolved or subdued. It's not against a character player, so we don't need to count anything there. And I narrate the outcome. Yeah, so I think I think there's something surprising about the way Sam kind of takes your advice, right? So he answers your question without kind of real reservation. He's trying to figure out what's going on himself, right? It's just when the magic I can feel the magic, right? When it starts to happen for real, and it feels dangerous, and I kind of get this fight or flight reflex, and I kind of want to shut down. And I think maybe we could do it again. I kind of know we're safe, right? So I just need to try it again.
Good, but don't push yourself harder than you need to. You will get the hang of this in time. Like everything, it's just a case of practice. But if you feel up to it, then you can try again.
Okay. And so I think he kind of starts to bring up the magic again. And it's the craft of Isis, right? So I think there's like some religious kind of symbology going on here, right?
Yeah.
And I think what happens when kind of he's kind of overcome his reservations, and he's kind of riding this kind of wave of magical energy, and then one of these the kind of glowing iconography just kind of almost lashes out at him when he's at his kind of magical apex, and it just like shuts the magic down. And it's you know, maybe it's something you've heard of before or even seen before, but it's like it's kind of shocking to be in the same room when it happens. You can kind of feel the kind of magical energy almost like revolt against his action. Yeah, I think we should cut right there. Sabine, about Mara.
Oops. Yeah, I think what Mara will attempt to do now, I mean, she will go home, or maybe she will go to her place, her natural habitat, wherever that is. And she will try to figure out some way to, maybe either divine what could grab one of these bros' attention, or maybe kind of create some sort of thing that will grab their attention, no matter what their not no matter what their interest really is, but that just something that will grab someone's attention, or maybe rather figure out how to do this, right? What the nature of these well, they're 20-ish maybe, or 19, so they're basically still kids, right? So what would grab their attention besides the obvious and not very helpful things?
Yeah, so
Some kind of divination thing.
yeah, let me just take a quick look at the magics in your craft. I do. Well, there's some nice divination options in there.
Okay, where would I see that?
Oh, sorry. If you in your character, the characters section for witches, if you scroll down to the craft magic section, which is right underneath the relationships, and then you can see there's like a 3x3 grid. And so you're able to do all of these, right? So even if and you get a bonus usually if it's or you don't get a penalty depending on the type of chapter we're on. So you can do magic and maiden, mother, and crow, regardless of your kind of personal aspect. And each of those has a slightly different one in curse and divination and blessing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So yeah, nice. Depending on exactly the effect you have. Now, if you want to be a little bit more mundane, you might have options for in terms of figuring something out, or in terms of like befriending someone. So there's awareness, which is a move when you want to find something you need or understand a problem. And then also it's a little bit tangential to the way you described it, but I'll mention it just in case, is befriend, when you want to create a strong relationship, generate goodwill, or establish trust. Also kind of would maybe have the same effect, more or less, as your intent. So,
but I think I will go with divination here, because I mean, yeah, like I have the feeling that maybe there's something. Okay, there is obviously something that is stopping these boys from paying attention and from behaving with empathy. And I need to know what would break through this cocoon of broiness, as I call it. And I feel that since Mara is a witch, she would actually use witchcraft for that, because why not? Why talk to people if you can use magic, right? That is always, I mean, that the talking comes after.
Yeah. So
And I need a lever.
yeah. So so why don't you describe Mara's kind of magical witchcraft setup? What's it like?
I think she has in this place that she has, what is the nature preserve? Yeah, there is a little lake, not a very big one, but it's pretty clear. And I think she will use that as some sort of mirror. Or maybe she will use the water. Yes, she will use a bowl, an earthen kind of clay. Well,
Yep.
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sometimes lacking the words for the most mundane things. Well, I can give you words for 3 different kinds of sorts. Yeah. So yeah, she will use a bowl of clay. Put in first. She will draw some symbols into that bowl. The symbols for, I think, a symbol for a cage, maybe. And the symbol for fear, and then the symbol for hope, and the symbol of a bird, like something that's flying free. And the 4 cardinal directions with the 4 traditional colors, and then she will fill that bowl with water, and then she will just use I think a sort of not a spoon, it's kind of a stick. Yes, it's a stick, and just to create some sort of movement in this bowl. And then you will see like this movement create some sort of, I mean, you can't really have a whirlpool in a bowl, right? That is not possible. Surely not. But there is this time, the water is kind of like almost like a miniature ocean. It whirls around, and there are waves, and smells almost like the sea. And after this has gone, then it will clear up, and she will start to see shapes in the water, and hear sounds in the waves that are going on. And should I roll now for something?
So I'm not exactly sure which divination spell you're going for.
I'm going for the mother one. See all possible future as a result of present actions. I mean, actually, what I'm trying to do is see a person, you see all that has happened to them, absorbing their life into their mind. Yeah, maybe I'm trying to prepare that one.
Okay, yeah. So not so much like what if I do this, but like what is the real reason behind Leonard's
Yes.
Ronus?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if I know the real reason, if I know what they're afraid of, then I maybe can counteract it.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, this is in the crone aspect.
Yes.
That's cool. So that is you're rolling with severity.
Yeah, which I'm not very good at, but okay. Yeah, you know.
Let me have a quick check to see in momentum. Yeah, it is. There's no extra problems or bonuses in this chapter. Okay.
Okay. Thought sister view practical rod driving. Okay.
Yes.
I guess. And I'm rolling 2d6s?
2d6 minus 1. Yeah.
Minus 1, okay. Even as I'm typing this, it sounds like this will not go well. Yep, it's a 6.
Just. Okay. So. So yeah, I think maybe it's worth saying yes. Actually, now that you mention it, you can, if you really want to, you can spend charms. There is on the rules tab, there's a list of ways that you earn charms and spend charms. So you can temporarily switch your aspect to do magic or a move.
Okay.
You can use it to confront subdued conflicts and have narrative control, no matter the outcome, or you can use it to create a truth, introduce story elements, or setting character.
Nice.
So technically, right, you might have said, oh, I really don't like rolling at -1, so I'm going to temporarily switch my aspect to be a crow, right, and to give yourself a bump in severity for this scene or for this conflict from -1 to 0, which would have bumped your 6 to a 7, right? So I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I think the way it suggests it doesn't say like you can't, but I think it reads to me like you should do it in advance, right? But I'm happy to let you get away with things if you want to.
I'm fine with the 6. It can't be that easy to cure broiness. Actually, I mean, that even as I typed it, it seems like, oh my God, this is very ambitious to do it just with a ritual with a little bowel.
Yeah. Or at least to figure it out, right? To figure out what's going on in this guy's head. So yeah, I think why don't you describe to me how it looks or how it feels when you start absorbing their life's memories into yours?
I don't think it feels very good. I think what I feel mostly, I mean, I've got conflict. I've got daddy issues of my own, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of hostileness and estrangement, and it's framed all like it's being normal, that this is how life is that this is how life is, that this is how someone is supposed to be, like hostile to everyone. And I think that this is not something that Mara is very familiar with, because as I said, there is conflict, but there is no true hostility in our family, not like that. And that's I think maybe that's, she doesn't know what to do with it. It's probably the truth that there is this core hostility in the life experience of this person. But this is not something you can just heal with a snap of the finger and showing them a nice little rabbit.
Yeah, I wonder, let me know what you think, because this is like impinging on your character.
Sure.
Do you think maybe for a short time, like that kind of aggression or that kind of outlook on life Leonard has kind of infects, is that the right word? Or kind of overtakes Mara's psychology?
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel that she might realize that this is happening, but realizing that something is happening and confronting it and doing something about it, that is quite a different thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
Do I write this down somewhere?
I mean, it's not like a condition or anything, but it's something that's affecting you right now. So.
I'll write it down.
But like you say, you can treat it as fairly disposable if you want, or maybe getting rid of it or solving the problem is the key to solving Leonard's condition too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's leave that percolate with you for a while, and let's.
Is this a conflict, by the way?
This is a conflict. And I think the figuring out why Leonard is such a bro has given rise to greater conflict, right? Or a more immediate conflict of how does Mara get rid of her broness?
I feel like a neurosurgeon for that.
Yeah. I think this is just a straightforward active conflict. Okay. Yeah, so Mark, how about we switch to Miranda right now? Do you think we're going to see Miranda meet with someone from Morningstar, or doing some kind of research in some other way? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm comfortable either way, but I think that maybe having a meeting with someone from Morningstar, maybe they're doing a campus tour, and just as part of the normal dog and pony show, and talking about the types of research that happens here, and how we help students from all types of backgrounds, those kinds of things, are some of the pitches. And see what Morningstar is interested in, or what they're trying to get at or achieve, if that comes out from this representative.
So yeah, I think let's call this woman Justine. And she has some corporate title. She is executive vice president for
That's exactly where I was going.
For something.
Yes.
And it's probably got some kind of in-house name that makes it sound stranger than it really is. But it's essentially like outside collaboration projects or something like that.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So and I think she's like maybe a little bit older than you, maybe late 40s or early 50s. African American, maybe. And in quite the killer kind of corporate hard suit, right? And maybe this is kind of like a scene, right, where we have there's like a lot of paperwork and a lot of talking about projects and future plans and all that kind of stuff. But it's not really much more than they could have figured out by themselves, right? So it's more like a getting to know you session, right? Which is what Miranda wants.
Perfect.
So yeah. So let's call this this is a conflict, like figure out what Morningstar's deal is, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Which is so yeah. Like what does Miranda look like when she is in kind of corporate schmoozing mode?
Yeah.
What's different from her than we've seen already?
She is so she's looking a little more formal than she would if she were just working in the lab. She's got her suit on, and her hair is up instead of down like it normally is. And so I think that they walked across the campus. They've had all these discussions. They're having a sit down now in a conference room. So it's like neutral territory rather than being like in Miranda's office. And I think that she's explaining to Justine what the school would be able to do or would do with this influx of funds. And at the same time, Miranda, I think, is trying to kind of like, she's trying to gauge what this is all about and try to kind of find out what Morningstar's deal is, but what their angle is in coming in here. Are they trying to like determine if magic is real? Do they already know that magic is real and they're trying to recruit young people? And this would be like a perfect setup for them to have a straight line into the like witch production kind of machine in this area. So they get young witches recently graduated or whatever the case might be to put in their employ.
Yeah, great. I mean, is this trying to, obviously that's not a question you can come at now. Oh, no, unless it is. Right. Maybe it is a question you come at now.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe on the second date, right?
Yeah, exactly. So is this kind of an awareness where, let's see, I'm trying to think, I guess I'm mechanizing it when maybe I don't need to at this point. I guess how forthcoming, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm wondering, right, is without it being like an explicit question to get an answer to, what are the kind of things that you might be able to like put in front of them that might get their interest, that would kind of answer that question in a slightly different way.
Right. So now I have to try to be clever.
I mean, you can totally roll the dice, right, and let them show maybe not how clever Miranda is, but whether Morningstar as an organization are cleverer than she is, right?
Right. So I think that I do think that okay. So what, as like an opening salvo here, I think that Miranda is trying to create a strong relationship with Justine, so that they can get to that second level of understanding. So being straightforward as possible without explaining all of the magic related things about the school, but dropping some kind of oblique references that maybe Justine's face might betray a little bit what she knows or understands as part of this. I don't know, maybe those two things really don't work, because can you create a strong relationship while also doing that? I guess trying to understand maybe what that person.
I mean, you can put surprising elements into your discussion, right? And it's and it's not necessarily like you're tricking them, but you get a surprise reaction.
Yes. Okay, that's what I'm going for. I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'll let the dice decide. I'm sorry, the dice decide. Let's see. Oh. All right. Are you up on the chat, Donna? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So 2 dice. And then
Sorry, yeah, I think the
modifier.
the move for this is a friend, right? So it's plus mercy.
Right. Plus mercy. And so her mercy is +1. Come on now. And let's see, is there anything else? So I guess I'm not doing magic, so my aspect doesn't matter, right?
Your aspect, I don't think will matter in that case.
Yeah. Okay.
Though I'm wondering if there's anything else. So you can get wheel if a circumstance or situation means that you would have advantage. I'm not quite sure if we're there.
Yeah.
Yet. But it's certainly something to kind of keep an eye on, right?
Okay. Let's see where we did I not roll?
Yeah, it looks.
Did the result pop up?
Yeah, I see a 9 total for you.
All right. So that's a success of sorts.
Healthy success. Well,
Yay!
Healthier than we've had so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on a 7, and just double check. On a 7 or more, the conflict is resolved or subdued. Okay, so we can return to this. So I think we would. So you can return to this in a following chapter, right?
Oh, okay, excellent.
Or you can spend charm to kind of hit it again, right? If you
right
want to. So let me just mark that. And I think this might be over the course of like the day, right?
Yes. Right.
This is not like a simple kind of one confrontation and you kind of find out exactly what's going on.
Right.
And she seems like obviously professional, but like fairly friendly and kind of maybe intending that this is a long-term relationship that they are seeking to create. And that Miranda is obviously like kind of obviously not going straight to the top, but like a significant person in the your grandfather's kind of circle of advisors or whatever. So she's taking it seriously. I think it's over the course of the kind of day, and you're looking at different programs and maybe looking at some case studies, right? This is what corporations love to see, right? Is case studies where we see like your real strengths and your kind of ethos play out over a longer term project. And I think you kind of see how I mean, without kind of giving anything away that you wouldn't, right? You kind of see her being very interested in a couple of students where maybe you've put in a few case studies which teeter on the edge of mysticism, right? So maybe there's like there's a brain scan, right, of someone who is meditating or something like this, maybe calling back to your previous discussion with Catherine. And she seems really intently interested in that, almost like more than she ought to be. And then like probably she draws a little bit back and look, is this a longitudinal study or are there a lot of test cases, and very like, I think pretty good questions, right? That you might say, yes, in fact, we have this, that, and the other, right? Or no, maybe this is why we need your funding, something like that. But I think the what you're looking or what you're seeing is that they are interested in kind of the kinds of people who turn out to be witches and how you identify them early and that kind of thing.
Perfect.
Just taking a note of that outcome, so we have it to go back to
Yes.
when we hit this conflict again. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll see you next time, David. Yeah, hope you feel better soon.
No worries. Yeah, thanks everyone. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, hopefully next time my brain will be behaving better. But see you all then.
Take care, David.
So, yeah, I think that's a I think that is a good kind of place. I think both of those conflicts have kind of built up a lot of momentum, right?
Mhm.
I think it might be a good opportunity to look at a meeting chapter, where maybe the problems you have are now slightly bigger and worth taking to the coven for. And so it would be like a good opportunity to compare notes, right? So let me read out the description of a meeting chapter. They're very self-explanatory, really. Scenes in meeting chapters are entirely about getting the character players together to gather the resources they need before they move into a mission, menace, or milestone chapter. It's a chance for the players to prepare for what is next. So I think you're probably in control enough that this makes sense, even if we don't do a mission, menace, or milestone immediately afterwards. And in meeting, you don't confront conflicts or roll dice for actions. You can introduce truths in the setting so long as they're not about other players' witches or existing subdued conflicts. And we work together to determine what you need for the next chapter. And basically, it goes on as long as it takes for you to decide what you're going to do next. So it's kind of entirely in your remit. But yeah, I can swoop in if you need an NPC or just general questions answered. So yeah, where do you guys meet up?
Just a quick word. I'm
Yeah.
not feeling too awake today either. So I don't know if I can carry a lot like creative load right now, but I'll try. Just give you a heads up that I might kind of fall asleep. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Well, we could, I don't want you to continue if you don't feel up to it. So
maybe do this meeting thing and then see where it goes and maybe cut it short because David's missing anyway. So
yeah. So we can have a laid back meeting chapter and then cut it a bit short today.
Cool.
Not our day today.
No,
but
no,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I actually slept enough, but still weird weather maybe.
Yeah, it's getting to resolve. Okay, so
sorry.
Where do we think our witches meet up?
Do we have a witch room, sort of kind like a staff room, just only for those who are clued in?
Yeah, I really like the kind of suggestion we got from David about the seminar room that's like never used and no one seems to have the key for it, right?
That's perfect.
So maybe it's something else which is a bit more laid back than the kind of ritual setting, but still, nobody ever uses that, right?
It's
I think all
adjacent.
colleges have those kinds of setups, right?
Yeah. For some reason, there's a sofa and one of these table kicker thingies. maybe.
You mean like a
Armchairs.
collapsible or a collapsible table or one of those lazy boys?
No, I'm not sure what either of these are. I'll show you what I mean. Maybe there's an English word for it. I just don't know it. Foosball table. That's apparently the translation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, a
Getcha.
kicker table.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Of course,
one
of
of
course.
these.
German obviously has the best words.
Yes.
You know, it's a table with lots of kicking on it, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like a laid back room
Mm.
that is for kind of decompression and just hanging out and relaxing. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe if we really need to, we can move all that aside, and there is a big circle underneath the underneath the rocks.
Yeah.
So
I think
we can do really big magic in there if we really need to, but usually it's not used for that because.
Yeah, I think this would either be like a climactic reveal where we see this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With this really casual setup, and then you just
Mhm.
drag everything back exactly like saying this big pentagram etched into the stone ground or whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a drinks table. So I think that Miranda takes it upon herself when people are in here to make drinks for everyone.
Nice.
So she will pass those around. She spent some time bartending when she was young.
Oh,
cool. And so everybody's relaxing, and they're on the sofa and in their chairs. And so I think that Miranda is just going to, she kind of feels like it's her responsibility to facilitate these discussions. So she takes on the role of facilitator, and she's just asking how things went. How are things going for you, Mara?
And Mara will kind of, and Mara is not usually a strong drinker, right? But this time she kind of looks around and says, why isn't there any beer here, Miranda? Huh? Why are there always just these fancy drinks like we're I don't know. Sometimes, I just want an honest beer. If you don't mind.
I'll make sure that there's beer next time. So is there, let's see. Yeah. I'll make sure there's beer. I'll have a little refrigerator brought in somehow.
Yeah. And
This environment doesn't work.
Kind of shakes herself and says, something got into my head. I'm sorry. I'm kind of, I don't know. Miranda, are you up for a game now? I feel like that might really help at this point.
Do you want to play some foosball?
Yeah. I feel that that's kind of has I don't know. Something went wrong. I got something in my head now, stuck kind of. That's where the beer thing comes from.
Okay,
I really,
dude.
really want a beer now, and a game of foosball, but
maybe some shots. I mean, is that like kind of?
Oh, shots are awesome.
What? Okay, so hey, what happened? This is not like you usually are. Usually you have.
No, it is not. I try to get into one of my students' heads, and I think I got a little too far.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now I want to be really hostile to everyone.
Okay.
This is why we really should play a game where I can do some physical stuff that is not really violence, but violence adjacent enough that I'm all these words.
Okay. I know this is not your thing, but would it be okay if we just took a quick MRI? Just like, I really want to know what's happening in there right now.
Let's get some of it out there before you put me in a tube and everything goes bang bang at me. Okay.
Okay, this is like a missed opportunity, but that's fine. So she walks over to the foosball table, blows dust off the handles. I don't know, maybe it sees a lot of action.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I think Mara usually likes to play, but she's usually more gentle. Like, okay, I don't have to win, and there's not much aggression there. Just, but she likes to play. And also there are, for some reason, there are raccoon hairs on it.
Raccoon, okay, right. Are we familiar with the existence of Bandit?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know. Does a Bandit just show up in the staff lounge?
Yeah. Okay. I imagine that that might happen to surprise people, and we can see the reaction in game.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
maybe Bandit is the reason there's no beer left.
Yeah, the beer always seems to be gone, and we always kind of think nobody knows really who took it, but everybody has a suspicion, and nobody has the same suspect.
So Sabine, if it's okay with you, I think that Mara like right away scores, like, and what does she do? Is this like a chest beating situation where she's like, yes?
Yes, I think
Your
so.
face.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
excellent.
Yes. Absolutely.
So yeah, Miranda's like, okay, cool, but take it easy on me. I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah. I'll go easy on you. And she does not.
Yes, exactly. And eventually she's thoroughly been trounced. And
I think Mara's getting a little calmer now. And she's been really energetic about the whole thing. She's been running around and twirling these little mannequins like mad. And then she says, well, I think A, I've won. B, I think we might have lost one of the balls. And C, you can do your MRI now, I think.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I think that I think that she actually doesn't want to make you go do an MRI because that's not going to be fun for you. Although she is curious.
I mean, you can. You're a witch, aren't you?
Yeah.
Can't you magic MRI my head?
There's like there's no witch MRI. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there is. Maybe witchcraft doesn't let us see that like synaptic activity, but I could witchcraft understand your brain in a different way.
I mean, you could try to understand the magic that is going on in my brain.
Yeah. I think that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to understand exactly what happened, and is it something that, and she's trying to determine if it's something that is going to need to be addressed, or is it just going to like fade on its own?
What I'm wondering is this something that is unusual? I mean, I try to figure out what was going on in his mind, and I wonder, do they all feel like that? It's terrible.
Yeah, not all of our students are really not everyone is an academic achiever. We have some who rely, if they've got some kind of magical gift, it relies more on maybe their force of personality or something. I don't even know what craft that is. I
don't think these were even magical students. I mean, I give some regular classes. These were just some dudes. I just wanted to get through to them.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's a challenge. I mean,
right now I feel that I should just punch them repeatedly, hard, and that would get through to them. But I'm not sure if this is just the dude brain talking.
Yeah, I think that if you probably went over, found them, at the Buffalo Wild Wings, which is like a sports themed bar, and kicked their asses, it would probably be satisfying for you, but I don't know that they'll probably complain.
And rightfully so, I think. Even though I could, my dad made me take martial arts classes, like a lot.
Yeah. I do not doubt that you could take care of that business.
Good.
I can understand it's tempting too. I mean, there are a lot of stupid people.
Yeah. I'm usually not like that.
Well, whatever I can do to help you get this out. Do you want to like punch me? I'll be fine.
I don't, Miranda, I'm not gonna punch you. I mean, I could, but damn it, I don't want to punch you. That's not me, at least.
Okay, fine. Whatever you need, if you need help, like if you want to go to the gym and...
It's not a good idea for me to do some kind of martial arts stuff right now.
Okay.
No, it's really not.
Okay. Super aggressive, man. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's weird. My brother is also pretty aggressive, but not like that.
Sorry, guys.
Not like
that. Well, let's do this. And she actually go over to the bar. She lines up a series of shots for you, and she says, it'll have a sedative effect. Just take them all right away, and give it 20 minutes, and maybe you'll get a little sleepy.
That alcohol enhances whatever mood you're in, right? I mean,
well, it's going to limit your inhibitions, but if you're passed out on the couch, maybe that's the best solution.
Yeah, damn it. I haven't done this since I was a student. And I only did it once, and it was a really bad idea. Can't believe you're making me do this.
I'm not making you do it. I'm suggesting that you do it. There's a big difference. I could try something else. Maybe I could try to...
This. Sorry, excuse my language. And then she goes and takes a shot. And you know what? I think I can take these shots and still be pretty coherent here.
Okay, cool. I can try to help you with try to just bring some peace to your mind. I don't know if it'll work really on you, because obviously you're different, but
what do you mean I'm different?
You're not a mundane, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm not a mundane. I can handle alcohol much better than any mundane can. I'm a witch.
I know.
And I botched my spell.
Botched? Yeah.
I'm a bad witch. I'm a bad witch.
Oh, no. You're a good witch. Mara, you're a good witch. It's okay. Here, just have a lie down here. And let me get this blanket for you.
I can
sometimes it gets cold.
Still kick those bros' ass, though.
I know. And they deserve it. They're horrible.
Yeah,
people.
horrible. It's so horrible. The poor things, they're so horrible.
They're bad. So
bad. Yeah.
All right. Just rest your eyes.
And I think I'm out now. Okay. I'm really curious where you're going with this.
So, I mean, physiologically speaking, I'm really wondering whether the broness is part of Mara's natural brain chemistry, or whether it's like something outside of her taking over, right? So, whether it responds to the kind of depressive nature of alcohol or not. Who knows?
Like,
I would say that just because this bonus is not part of Mara's character at all, but maybe it's not quite as natural. Not just the natural bonus of people who are living or have grown up in a very repressive, toxic household, but maybe there's something more. I would like if that was the case.
Very cool.
It would make things more interesting.
Yeah. So, Mark, are you thinking of the blessing White Tara?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing.
Discord, anger, or resentment. Yeah.
Yep.
So what does this ritual look like?
So I think that, is Mara like kind of starting to sleep on the couch, dozing off a little bit? Okay. So I think that it's very simple in terms of anything that's needed. Since this is our kind of staff, I'm sure we have some things available in terms of like incense or those kinds of things. But I think let's get a metronome. So there's a metronome, and she sets that at a very slow pace and matches her breathing to it. And then through the closes her eyes while her breathing matches the metronome, and closes her eyes, and then through the magic is trying to bring Mara's breathing into that same space in terms of like the frequency and so on, to kind of match up, and then bring kind of a calm over her at the same time. So
I mean, we're in a meeting chapter, so there's no rolling dice, right, for actions.
Excellent.
So
okay.
Again, this is like something we'd already pegged as being temporary, right, for Mara. So
Right.
I mean, maybe it's still going to be there in the background, or maybe it's going to help her understand Leonard later on, but it's not going to be quite so kind of intrusive into her thoughts or behavior, right, from now on. So I'm happy to just kind of hand wave the ritual as being kind of effective, right? What do we think we see, like when the ritual has taken place from Miranda's point of view, and then kind of inside Mara's thoughts when she kind of wakes up?
Yeah. So when Miranda kind of comes out of the so she comes out of this meditative state, and Mara just her breathing seems very calm. She seems very relaxed and steady. She obviously still has the alcohol in her system, but I think that Miranda understands that now Mara is hopefully going to have an easier time of this going forward, now that this kind of like bro anger aggressiveness has been tamped down. Does that really answer what we're driving at, Donna?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I guess from Mara's point of view, like, do you think she has kind of, being back to herself, but still having that awareness, do we think that kind of gives her some kind of insight that'll be useful, or how's her kind of outlook on the problem now?
I think she's gonna have a headache. But maybe that helps kind of grounding her a little more, and I think that she realizes that this thing happening is not normal. You usually wouldn't get taken over by something like that unless there was some sort of magic happening beforehand. So maybe Leonard's actually capable of doing magic, so might be a, oh God, he might be a witch. or somebody in his family is a witch and has actually is an untrained witch and has actually made the situation a lot worse.
Yeah, cool.
Which
Okay.
would be.
I'm not sure which is like better story-wise. Oh my God, this bro is going to be a witch, or there's something darker at, at bay here.
Yeah, but we have a veil to harm to children, so I didn't ask first on bullying. So we want to be careful here. I mean, none of these were from me, but so I want to be careful with that whole content. And those poor Leonards. I mean, I think toxic masculinity and what happens between a traditional father and his traditional son, like this emotional distance and kind of facility. Is that okay for everyone? I mean, I'll check in with David obviously next time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I think I like the idea that he might actually be a burgeoning witch.
Yeah, cool.
Oh God.
So then, I mean, like maybe this kind of discussion doesn't really take place, now, but maybe like the next day or something. Maybe even in the same setting, but like with the window, the curtains open, and natural light coming in and some fresh air and all that kind of stuff. So is it a question for maybe going back around to Miranda's kind of discovery about Morningstar, or what do you think?
In terms of the conversation, where it goes? Yeah. I think that Miranda will definitely share that information and is looking for insight, I think, from the others about whether it's something that we should mess with or become involved with, or should we just shut it down immediately? I mean, one of the things I guess about witches is that they're so powerful they can kind of create whatever wealth they want. Is that accurate? Like, if they really
I mean, there are certainly, and I think the Craft of Tara is one that has one of those abilities. But I think generally speaking, you're kind of relying on your magic to kind of fuel a business or some kind of normal, let's say normal wealth creation.
Right.
And you can kind of see right in the options when you create the coven that there are choices that you could have made that would have said that you were much more poorly off, right?
Right.
So like scraping by is definitely something that we could have explored. So I don't think it's like, hey presto, we snap our fingers and we don't need any outside investment, right? But so I think it's like it's a decision that has to be made and it has to have kind of real repercussions. Otherwise you probably wouldn't have even been entertaining it, right?
Yeah, perfect.
So no easy outs.
Right. And that's great. That just crossed my mind as I was looking at it. I was like, have I kind of like started down the wrong path on that conflict to begin with? But that's a good explainer. Thank you.
I figured out that I maybe can protect the university or the college from natural disasters like tornadoes or something. Also kind of nice.
Definitely nice.
Don't really need insurance. Insurance is expensive.
But you've gotten those insurance underwriters to do a survey, and there's been no natural disasters in these square miles for years. So whatever the opposite of act of God is in the insurance clauses, act of witchcraft. Cool. So sorry. I guess
so
rewind a bit.
what were the options on this morning star thing? I imagine this happens the morning after Mara is a little hungover, but she's young and she drinks copious amounts of herbal tea, and then she'll be okay and be ready to listen to your morning star problem and what we are going to do about it. So these are investors who might be interested in our magical powers. And
Yeah.
you are
So I feel like in speaking with Justine Nolan, who is one of their executive vice presidents, probably one of 100 or something, I don't know, but I got the sense that she is in the know to some extent, and I'm a little concerned that what the quid pro quo might be here and what they might be asking in return for their investment.
yeah.
If they just want to name the lacrosse field, Morningstar Enterprises lacrosse field, that's fine. But if they want to get down to taking some type of ownership and perhaps influencing the direction of the university, that's my concern. On the other hand, that's so much money that we could do so much good with.
I wonder if they are looking for some sort of student programs, like getting students into internships, some of ours into internships with them. And we'd have to be careful about that, I think, because there's a lot of ways that this can be pretty bad for the students, right?
Agreed. Yeah, that you're correct. That's entirely possible.
I mean, one of my girlfriend showed me a tweet last Saturday where some corporate executive said something like, young people should really work on the weekends because this is a good idea. And she was going into quite the diatribe why this is a terrible, terrible idea because, well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's something I think we should keep our eyes open to, because corporations usually they want, if they invest, they want their fingers in the pie, right? But the other question is, if they're in the know, and if we say just, hey, you Morningstar people, go away, will they take a no?
That's a really good question. And that's kind of like, I think the point that we're going to have to discuss as a coven, and then bring our recommendation to Luis. I don't know. It's difficult.
So do you kind of like this new name? Justine?
Yes.
Person?
Yeah. She seemed pretty straightforward. She was very interested. And I don't know.
She interested in the project or interested in you?
Oh,
or both?
She didn't particularly seem interested in me, but now that you mention it. But she is interested in the project. Specifically, she was interested in the kind of students who turn out to be witches. She seems to be interested in, well, I mean, without stating it like that, but she seemed to be interested in that direction. Maybe we should start by having our attorneys look at what their offer is.
Yeah, I have no idea what an attorney really does. Except wear a tie, I guess, or a power suit.
Make money.
Oh yeah, right. And bill hours.
And bill hours, yes.
Here, that's the thing.
So I guess find out more, right? Is the kind of plan.
Yep, I think so.
So that seems fair enough. And then for the kind of Leonard thing, it also seems like maybe
find out
try
more.
to make a personal connection with him to see what might
Yeah.
be going on behind the scenes. Okay.
Make a personal connection. That's not going to be easy, but well, we'll see.
Yeah. One where the kind of the teacher pupil relationship might work against you. Okay, cool. So I don't know how you're feeling, Sabine. I'm aware I don't want to keep you on the call later than you're able. So I would have said now is a good time to take a break anyway, but maybe we just pause till next week and then we jump back in.
I wouldn't mind if we did that.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Is that okay for you, Mark? Because I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I was gonna 5 o'clock was going to be starting to be iffy for me today. I'm sorry, 5 o'clock. At the 3 hour mark was going to start to be a little iffy for me today.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll leave it there.
Okay.